you very much. And Frosty, I've only met one of your children, and I'll tell you what a blueprint for America. Congratulations, and it's a blueprint for all of us. Your comments are spot on. We appreciate them so much. You know, just last week, China announced that it plans to impose export restrictions on two important minerals, which are both used in semiconductors and EV batteries. This, they say, is in retaliation of our own export controls on certain semiconductors to China. China is doing this because they can. They control the vast majority of rare earth and critical minerals in the entire world. China has a long history of engaging in trade wars with the United States and other countries, and the world's increasingly dependence on critical minerals and China's growing control over these same minerals. It will only lead to a greater and greater threat to the United States and our allies. What is stopping China from banning the export of cobalt, nickel, or copper? Critical minerals will be the most sought-after commodity of this 21st century. And the United States is setting up China to hold the same power OPEC did over global oil supply chain in the 70s. The opportunity we have here in the United States is not only become a critical mineral independent, but become critical mineral dominant. We have an incredible opportunity to export these minerals to allies and partners around the globe, lessening the grip of countries like China on global supply chains. Senator Bach, thank you for agreeing to come here and be an expert witness. On behalf of Northeastern Minnesota, your service to our state is commendable. We want to talk about promoting mining. In your statement, you said there's trillions of dollars. I want to add to that because a leading geologist said there's trillions and trillions and trillions of minerals in the Duluth complex. When crafting trade agreements with other countries, one of the biggest focuses of policymakers is protecting our workers here in the United States, along with ensuring workers in other countries have proper working conditions and receive fair wages. Senator, in your written testimony, you touched upon some of the projects here in Minnesota that are being held up at every turn. One project in particular is on its 20th year of permitting and just had its Clean Water Act permit pulled a few weeks ago. Historic. Never has happened in the United States. Can you share some of the benefits that the jobs these projects would bring and the impact that they would have on our local economies in northeastern Minnesota and the nation broadly?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Stauber. I should have mentioned first in my earlier answer, if I could digress for a second, it's worse than just the two mineral leases that the Biden administration canceled. In addition, by executive order, they put a moratorium on 225,000 acres of land in northern Minnesota for 20 years. No exploration, nothing. It's frustrating. I look at those communities, some of those communities that I represent, the city of Ely, for example, and the city of Babbitt kind of bookend these projects. I think, if I remember right, 15 kids graduated from the Babbitt School this year. When I graduated, they were graduating about 150. Mm-hmm. And Ely, same situation, bigger town, about 3,200 people. They went from graduating about almost 200 people when I was in school to 47 this year. Rural Minnesota needs economic development. Rural America needs economic development if these communities are going to survive. I often say, if you want to look at the health of a community, take a look at their school census. Because for a community to be healthy, you need young families that are raising kids, putting kids in school. And if you don't have that, you're a community that is slowly dying. But the jobs lost are just exponential. And it's opportunities for generations that are lost. And what's problematic is we're not even allowed to do a scoping document to consider what environmental issues there might be. So nobody can even come and, you're bad enough you can't do an environmental assessment. You can't even do the scoping document that would tell you what should we study, what is the potential impacts to the environment. So it's bad for Minnesota, it's bad for the country. Frankly, I think it's bad for the world, because as these critical mineral shortages happen, prices are going to go up exponentially, and we all will pay a price for that. We need more development all across the country and across the world.
Now, we'll just end with this. Thank you for your comments. Minnesota is ready, able, and willing to mine these. And this administration's policies of anywhere but America and any worker but American has to stop. We must control our own destiny. Mr. Chair, I yield back.